Hello. There it is. Calling to order the September 8th, 2025 Reading Library Board of Trustees meeting. And do we have anybody online for public comment? I know we have a letter to read, but is there anyone online? Okay. Amy?
Turn on. Just to let you know, I'll pass this out and it can be in the packet, but you'll have this to read. The trustee email box did receive an email from Allison Sloan, who's actually a former Reading Public Library employee. But Allison is now president of the Massachusetts Library Trustee Association. And it's a request for you all to consider joining. It's a $100 fee for the entire board. And you can learn more information at the mlta.org website. So I will, I won't bore you with all reading the whole thing aloud, but I'll pass it out to you and it'll be included in the minutes for you to consider. And if you wish to discuss at another point, I did also just write on the side that we are members of, through the state, something called United for Libraries. Do you all get those emails? Yeah, it's something that we get through the state, and they also have a trustee training program as well. So that's something for you to consider. And I have one more thing. Also for your, the minutes and the packet. I did get a quick update sent from RMLD about usage, and it's literally just the two of the charts, and it clearly shows level 3 being used a lot. And the changeover in the parking space only happened, a month or two ago and was only cleared up a month or two ago. But I think you can really see the changes. They're going to continue to monitor it. This is basically, we asked for semi-annual or quarterly updates. So Megan Wu was kind enough to send it to me. Just in summary, there is a drop in the level 2 charging. But it could also be because more people are using the level 3 charger because they can get in and out quicker. So they're going to keep watching the trends. So I'll hand this out as well.
I know that people now know that the level 3 is available. There's a lot more use.
So I checked the parking spot as I was coming in, and I saw that they blacked out, and I'm not sure who they is, but we'll just say they blocked out the electronic vehicle symbol from the spot. So it's
Yes.
a big black square now,
Yes.
but the writing still says EV vehicles only.
The sign?
No, the actual writing on the asphalt.
Oh, okay. I'll have
And it's a
them.
little bit faded, but if anybody
Sure.
was unsure and they saw that writing, they probably wouldn't park there.
Okay. We'll take a picture of it tomorrow and send it to Megan. Between them and DPW, they have the line people to do that.
Okay, great. And maybe we could spend a little bit of money and have a post on a sign that says any RPL patron can park here. Like, I think people are still going to be hesitant to park there.
General parking.
Yep. Yeah. Love that.
General parking.
Faster than what
Okay.
I'm saying, yes.
Thanks. We'll put a sign on. I'll talk to DPW about that.
Okay, thanks.
No other public comment.
All right, looking at the RMLD thing. Next item on the agenda, do we have any questions or comments on public comment, or ready to move on to the fall programming summer reading report? Ready? With Andrea.
Hi, everyone. I handed out our fall, excuse me, I need water. I handed out our fall quarterly brochure. So y'all have that. Thanks to Michelle for putting that together. All right, next slide, please. So before we move on to the fall programs, I just want to do a little recap of our summer reading. Oh, Pat's not here. I feel like I made this slide for him, but he's not here. Um, so sad. Well, Jamie will appreciate it. And Michelle. So we reimagined summer reading this year and got really creative. Our goals were to cut back on material waste because we often give out a lot of like plastic little prizes to teens and kids. Focus on reading, which is what we should be doing every year, but this year we really wanted to make it about the reading, and bring people to the building and to each other. I think it was a good success. Our official summer reading theme, branching out, aligned with the Rooted in Reading grant. And the unofficial theme aligned with the Beastie Boys' 1986 single, You Gotta Fight for Your Right to Partay. We had 6 children's reading parties with homemade games and decorations. Each child left with a prize book. We held 3 silent reading parties for adults and teens, each with a fun theme, refreshments, and facilitated discussion after the silent reading time. If you have questions as I go, feel free to stop me. Next slide, please. In addition to reading parties, teens and adults focused on storytelling through writing and public speaking workshops, culminating in a story slam. That was a lot of fun and a big success. Participants in the teen and adult summer reading programs were entered in a raffle to win gift cards from Caloresso's, Whiteland Books, Market Basket, Cafe Nero, or Dunkin' Donuts, their choice. And another way to participate was to submit a very brief book review called a shelf talker. And selected shelf talkers are displayed in the teen and adult collections right now from the public. Next slide, please. The children's room took a survey about summer reading just because it was such a different kind of program than we've ever done in the past. And one of the questions they asked, compared to previous summer reading programs, how much did you like this one? 60% said, I liked this one more than previous summer reading programs. 15% said they liked it less, and 25% said they'd never participated in summer reading before. Next slide, please. The next one asks, in your opinion, what do you think is the most important part of summer reading at the library? And by far, the majority said promoting reading as a fun activity, which is pretty much how we go about it as well, especially this year. The next most popular was making the library a part of your routine, which we also like to promote kind of quietly along with reading. And then the next largest category at 10% was help with the summer slide, which is when there's regression in reading ability and academic progress over the summer months. Next slide, please. Okay, so we have outdone ourselves yet again in the sheer number of programs we have this fall. So I'm just doing some really brief highlights. These are one-off lectures and workshops. First one, Braver Angels, Learning to Disagree Better in Polarizing Times. It's a national organization, and this is a half-day workshop. It aims to promote better understanding of the values and concerns of people who differ politically, build listening skills and speaking skills that are less divisive. If that's too heavy for you, we also have a pickle making workshop, tea blending, and a coffee tasting. Those are all not the same event. Those are separate events. In keeping with our Rooted in Reading swaps, where we're kind of doing this sustainable approach, we're doing our first ever children's Halloween costume swap that's going on in our lobby right now, which has been really popular. We've gotten some fabulous children's costumes, and I think parents everywhere can rejoice that they don't have to go buy new costumes every year. Livewires is doing a film screening of When Johnny Comes Marching Home, The Death and Life of Larry Benson. Our local esteemed Professor Emeritus of History, Bill Fowler, is doing a presentation on George Washington and the creation of the American Republic. Our teen librarian has been developing a relationship with a couple of Korean authors, and she has them joining virtually from Korea, Ji Hon Yoon and Ryan Estrada. And finally, story time with goats, because we've already done alpacas and snakes, et cetera, et cetera. So that should be fun. The alpaca was not friendly, so we probably won't have the alpaca back. He was a cranky, cranky guy. Yeah, so the goats, we hope they're friendlier. All right, next slide. Okay, this is just a little side note. This summer, we received like a dozen calls and emails to bring the Mahjong beginner instruction series back. So we did. This was like a hot topic on a Facebook page, and registration opened this week, and it's full already, and the wait list is full, and now there's crying and gnashing of teeth. So that's what we get for being so responsive to the public. We cannot please them. Next slide, please. So in addition to the Mahjong series, a few other series that we're doing, Mortality 101, we did a death and dying series back in the fall of 2016. And we're, reviving is probably the wrong word, but we're bringing that back. We're doing a write your own obituary, which may or may not get canceled because the presenters had a family emergency, but we're gonna have her back or find a new one. An end of life planning workshop, your digital afterlife, helpful tips for your online legacy, which now that there's AI is like very important that people do, but also just so that you can make sure your family have your account logins and all of that. And a death cafe, which is just a sort of casual place for people to gather and talk about death in a friendly, low-key way. And there's always cake at the death cafe. We also have toddler yoga and acted out storybook theater for littles. And today was the first day of our startup squad. And following that will be Shark Tank Junior entrepreneur classes for kids. Next slide, please. These are either new programs or things that we're bringing back. And again, just a smattering. In addition to genealogy and local history appointments, we've added tech help, one-on-ones with a staff member. In addition to, I believe, the 5 other book groups we offer, we're adding one for teens and one for tweens with their parents, so a nice intergenerational book group. Family concerts have been a huge hit. We've talked about this before, but so we are really focusing a lot of the budget and the calendar on bringing back some of our popular folks like Mara and Motoko, Rockabye Beats, Selena's Trio, and the immortal Peter Sheridan, but we're also adding in Little Groove and Marian Aranzi. And that's just all in the fall, which is a lot. That's a lot. Under Michelle's guidance, we're bringing back the Connected Reading Open House. Town Hall is now taking the lead, and I think the Chamber of Commerce also helps with that. Michelle, you have anything to add?
Oh, sorry.
It's the same night as the Halloween trick or treat downtown, but people should come here after.
It's like the after party for the Halloween trick or treat. That's how we need to market that. And, you know, we're continuing to partner with the Reading Public Health Department, but we've really added in a lot of content this fall. We have CPR classes for adults and classes for teens. We have a flu clinic. We have blood pressure and hearing screenings. And in part, we're doing so much programming with them because the new public health nurse, Liv Bartolomeo, is just so fantastic. So she's been great. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is just a selected smattering of our meetups. We have our crochet and knit going strong. That has both older and younger adults and even a few teens that come. And occasionally we hire someone to teach a demo. Board game nights are a new meetup. We're trying to attract 20 and 30 somethings to the library. So if you know any, send them our way. Between time has started up again for 9 to 13-year-olds. That's just kind of a hangout meetup where they do a different themed kind of game or activity each time. And then we have Teen Talks with Liv. So this is the public health nurse I was talking about. It's a new partnership between our own teen librarian and Liv. And the meetups will provide a space for teens to connect to Megan and Liv while doing a hands-on activity and sneakily opening up the floor for any health-related questions teens may have. So they're going to like craft or do a game, and then, you know, if they learn something about how to take care of their skin, that's just a bonus. And we're adding in Pokemon Club for grades 3 through 5. Next slide, please. So the Friends speaker series, this fall, we have self-help to fantasy and memoir to historical fiction. A few highlights of the fall lineup include Nobel Peace Prize winning education advocate Malala Yousafzai, Joseph Lee, who tells the story of growing up Akina Wampanoag from Martha's Vineyard, and Amanda Peters, who wrote The Berry Pickers, which is one of RPL's most in-demand books of the last few years, and many, many others. So that's it. Next slide. There's the thank you part. Do you have any questions for me? I do. At night. Yeah. Anything else? Do any of you teach Mahjong? Because we need more. All right. Not doing that. All right. Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is a review for the revisions to the collection,
Nope. Stay
state of the collection. Excuse me, I got ahead of myself. Pardon me.
How's that? All right. The state of the collection. I'm sorry. Hi, I'm Jamie Penny. I'm head of collection services. I know many of you, but not everybody. Sorry about that. All right. So state of the collection, I'm going to report a little bit on the statistics and then a couple of cool little things that we do that I want to tell you about. So circulation in general of physical items has been trending downward for the past, I would say, 3 years. That's the case in most libraries. However, ebook and e-audio are trending upward, and collection of everything is still quite robust, but we have seen a little bit of a decline. You see all these articles lately about why are people reading less? Maybe it's that, maybe it's not. These trends come and go. I'm not too worried about it. But I will show you, Amy, you will let me share my screen if I can remember how to do that. Share screen, here we go. I haven't shared my screen in a Zoom meeting in a very long time. I want to be on this screen. Bear with me for a moment. I am actually using Microsoft Edge for this, which I almost have never done. Okay. I've started it, but it is not here. Ah, there we go. So here we go. Oh, no. I guess my mouse has to actually be on it. I have on the left, I have physical items. I have them in fiscal year groups. The top one is FY25, then obviously FY24 and FY23. Over on the right is a very basic breakdown of the kinds of things we track. Circulation in general, checkouts, staff renewals, auto renewals, web renewals, and how many holds we filled. You can see we fill a lot of holds. We really are into that. That's here. Can you see that on the right-hand side? It's this. But you will see that there's a bit of a downward trend. We were at 343 total in FY23, 340 and 330. So it's a little concerning, but you know, I feel like it's going to be okay. Our overdrive circulation, which is online audio and ebooks, is here. And you can see that's gone up over the years. It was at 44.5 and 23, went up to 52, and now we're at 55. And you can see the categories over on the left: adult fiction, nonfiction, children's fiction and nonfiction, and teen fiction and nonfiction. And then the breakdown over here is the ebooks and the audiobooks. They're pretty close. I see ebooks is edging e-audiobooks, which kind of surprises me, but a lot of statistics surprise me. So that's the state of the collection. What I do want you to know, for FY25, Reading is the highest circulating individual library in Noble. Beverly as a whole is higher, but they have got 2 libraries and a bookmobile. So Reading is the highest individual library.
Jamie, do you mind going back to the first tab just for a second?
Oh, the
Physical
physical circulation one?
Thank you. I just wanted to look at it.
Sure. Yeah, you can keep that up there. We are 4th in overdrive circulation. We have the 8th highest number of patrons. The other libraries that are higher than us are 3 of them are academic libraries, and the other 3 are big cities: Beverly, Lynn, Peabody, and Salem. I guess that's 4. So our users are avid. They come here and they use stuff and they check things out, and we're a very busy library. So there's nothing to worry about there. Now, I do want to say a little bit about some of our digital resources. You probably know that there were cuts to the Federal Institute of Museum and Library Services, and that has resulted in cuts to the digital resources that are provided by the Commonwealth, which there was a very vast amount. We reviewed usage statistics and looked at our other offerings, and we decided it was most important to maintain digital access to the Boston Globe. So we added that to our budget for FY26. We decided to cancel a couple of them based on cost per usage and usage stats overall, and we decided to cancel Financial Fit and Home Improvement Source. And another cost reduction thing that we did was to reduce the allowed borrows per patron per month in the Hoopla collection. It used to be 12. Every patron could get up to 12 borrows per month, and now that's down to 9. I'm not sure if it's gone active yet. I don't know if there have been any complaints yet, but I think we'll be able to weather that storm. We got a new website called Craft and Hobby, which we are going to be promoting, and I feel like we're going to try to get some mileage out of that one. I also just wanted to briefly mention our Library of Things. You may have seen the new cabinet up in on the main floor. We reviewed all of the records and renamed things to make them more, less brand name and more what they are. Like we had the brand name of the camera, and so we wrote camera. They're easier to find now. We have little pictures in the catalog, which I can show you in a minute. What else did we do there? Oh, I talked about the pictures, right? Yeah, that's my favorite part. And our next step is the children's rooms Go and Grow collection. I do have some pictures of the cabinets in case you haven't seen them, and I'm going to try to find them in Edge, Microsoft Edge. How do I do that? Okay, let's see. No. Well, never mind. Just go up and look at them if you like, because I don't know how to get there. Also, we have our lockers, the outdoor lockers, which seem to be working pretty well for a good stretch. We've had our ups and downs with them, you may have noticed. Valerie it used to be very difficult to get reports out of the software that it came with. We could never tell how many, they called them transactions, but we didn't really know what that meant. So Valerie got Noble to include, we can do our circulation by workstation, and that is a workstation. So we do have these stats from that, and that's on the, hang on, where is my mouse? It's so weird working on is this my locker stats? Yeah, there's our locker circulation. We started doing that, that's Valerie over there, and she knows all about the lockers. So if you have any questions about those, she's the one to talk to. We started collecting the trends. These are the items placed in the lockers that are checked out via the lockers. Okay, whether they come pick them up or not, but they mostly do. So the average is about 60, but you can see, our busy months, like March is always a very busy month for everything. So there's 108 in there. They were a little low in November and December. Presumably people are out shopping or something. But it's been pretty steady, and there's some real repeat users, power users that really like it. We've addressed some of the issues about the glare by making a little sleevey thing. You may have seen that. I think there is still a few glare problems, but it's so much better than it was. But we really hope that this company learns how to do this better, because they were like, well, I don't know, when we asked them about it. We're like, we literally can't use them. No, good luck. That was their response to it. And now I want to show you a very cool thing, which is coming soon to the catalog, and that is Aspen. Now, Aspen is a new public-facing version of the catalog, and it's going to make it here. Here's the cool deets about it. It provides search assistance. It integrates ebook and audio collections, so you can borrow them right from the catalog instead of having to go to the app. You know, if you look in our catalog, you'll see that they exist there, but if you click on it, it doesn't let you open it up. This will. And it groups formats and editions very easily. And this is what it looks like. So this is what a search for remarkably bright creatures looks like in our old catalog. You can see that, you know, the top one is a book, and then we have a large print book, an ebook, e-audio, etc. But look how nice it looks in Aspen. That's not my search. I think I have to type in the search. Unfortunately, I picked some very long title that's hard to type. Remarkably, sorry. I could just cut and paste it, but I actually read this book, so I'm surprised I don't remember the name of it. And I read it in an ebook. Remarkably Bright Creatures. I want to make it a title. And then we do a search. Oh, how do I get that out of there? I guess will that work? No. Thank you for your patience. There it is. There it is. But I still have this here. That way, that one. There we go. Thank you for everybody's help. So here you can see, look at that. The book is on shelf. The large print is checked out, but it also tells you, you know, 8 copies, 16 people are on the wait list, and then you can click and find out where it is. The audiobook CD, Reading doesn't own, but you can borrow it from another library. Same with the Playaway edition. Here are the ebooks. They are available online. If you clicked this, it will let you download it right from there. And an e-audiobook, which is checked out. And there's ebook and Kindle editions as well. So we really like the way this looks. It's for the public only at the moment. We're going live with this in late September. Our collection services librarian too, Catherine Jeffrey-on-Scannell, has been our Aspen contact person, and she's been really working on, you know, let me go to the homepage and show you these are very nice. And she has made these up. This is the first thing you see here is adult fiction. Basically, this is the newest adult fiction that's been added lately. And you know, you can scroll and see what's new in adult fiction and in teen. It just populates itself. Here's the children's collection. Some cool stuff there. Oh, and here's our library of things. The newest ones we haven't yet taken the pictures of and put them in the catalog, but if you look down here, you can see what's this, the pickleball net, and this is the projection screen, this is CD player. So we have these very cool pictures that we've been able to put into the catalog ourselves. Look, these are cool. This is the bird song identifier, one of my faves. So that's all I really have to mention. I urge you when this goes live to try the Aspen catalog. I think everyone's going to really like it. And that's what I got. What? Well, the date's been a little bit of a moving target. For a while it was September 15th. Latest I've heard is September 30th. We're saying late September.
It's on the phone.
Yeah. Oh, you got it on your phone. Can you say it out loud? Oh, it integrates with Communico. I didn't even know that. We've been, yeah, the Communico is our app, so we've been working on those things. Yeah. Getting all that stuff integrated has been really a big part of what we've been doing lately. Same thing with the Library of Things, getting the new app. And it gave us a chance to really sort of overview some of these collections and try to work to make them work with all of the ways to see them. I'm looking forward to having the staff be able to use the Aspen catalog, like our staff client that we use with all the bells and whistles. But I don't have a date for that. But that doesn't bother you anyway. That doesn't affect you folks anyway. So that's what I've got. Do you have any questions for me? Do you want to look at any more? Do you want to gaze at the
One
beauty of my
question
slides?
on the physical circulation.
Yeah, let's go back
tab.
there.
Audio and video, I assume those are physical audio. Video.
Yes, these are all physical things.
Right. So if you take those out, the decline, because there's pretty significant declines on those two formats over the years.
Yes, and
The
well,
whole decline is about
we have
under
been,
2%.
yeah, and same with audio. Audio is audiobooks.
Oh, audio.
And I've spoken of this before. It's that a lot of that is driven by the fact that cars, for example, are no longer, they don't come with CD players anymore. That's not a technology that a lot of people have. A lot of computers, laptops don't come with a CD drive. You need your little stereo with your CD player in it to listen to those things. So that's driving a lot of that. And also a lot of videos aren't even being released at all because the producers of them want people to subscribe to streaming services. They don't want anyone to own anything anymore. You have to subscribe for the rest of your life in order to see a Disney movie.
Separately, I was just wondering, are the 2025 totals skewed because we're only 8.5 months through the year?
This is fiscal year 2025.
Oh, okay, so I'm not.
So it
aware.
ended
What are the dates?
July 1st of 24 to
Okay.
June 30th of 2025. So we just started fiscal year 26.
And
I do have month-to-month data for all of this either, but I figured the nice recap of the year would be most useful for you folks.
So I have a follow-on question to what Cappy was asking about audio. So he asked, is that physically what we have in the collection? So is it, I was thinking it was CDs and
Yeah,
play
that's
away.
CDs and playaways. And we have a couple of MP3 CDs, also CDs.
Okay.
For a while, cars were making those with,
Are we
What?
even,
oh, it does include music CDs as well. Thank you. Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's what I was.
Yeah.
But are we really even adding much to those collections?
We are when we can get it. I mean,
Why?
people, they still circulate quite well.
Okay.
There's fewer of them to choose from. A lot of really big popular movies just haven't been coming out on DVD at all. Like Anora, I don't know. I think we do have Anora. That was
And
last
play
year.
away is still used?
Playaways people do like because they can take them out and they're their own thing. All you need is headphones. You don't need a specific device to play them in.
Right.
And kids love them. We get a lot of them in the children's collection. And they're relatively sturdy.
Thank you.
Anything else you want me to say? Oh, I can stay for that. But I can shut this down and go back over there. Don't. Right, actually, what I really want to do is stop sharing. And how do I do that? I think I might have just closed the Zoom meeting. How about that? We just shut the whole thing down. I know, I don't want to be, but I am. Closing it.
Did that kill the Zoom? We're still going. Okay, couldn't tell. Just gonna stop and wait for it to come back. Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? That was great. Excellent. Thank you very much. Next on the agenda is the review revisions to the collection development and RFR policy.
Okay, so as you know, we review all of our policies and sometimes we find opportunities to streamline them and improve them or respond to current trends. So there are a few changes, particularly to the RFR policy, but I'll start with RFR procedures, but I'll start with the policy for collection development. First of all, we changed and updated our mission. So that was with our strategic plan. So we have replaced that. The next red lines are really more for grammatical and, I mean, accuracy, because we wanted to make sure that we have information about accuracy in there. But beyond that, there's not much to the actual policy. The one thing that we did add, which is language coming from the pending Massachusetts legislation, which is called Freedom to Read, is to sort of reinforce that materials will not be prescribed or removed due to personal, political, or doctrinal views. This relates to the RFR policy because we want to be very clear that even if you're challenging something, it's not going to come right off the shelf, meaning just because you've asked for it to be reviewed, it stays on the shelf until a decision has been made. And it's also reinforcing that we try to present as many sides, backgrounds, views, contributing to the creation of the content. That sort of replaces, that language up there replaces the item to be reviewed will not be removed from the collection because it's identical and we don't need to have it in there twice. And so again, this is just about the actual way we gather, what we collect and deaccession materials, and the guidelines by which we select materials. The changes that are a little more, I think there's one little change down here, interpretation of Bill of Rights. The second piece that is really it's the appendix 2, which is the request for reconsideration. Reinforcing that the item in question shall remain available during the process. There's a little bit of a recommendation here to switch up the role, and this reflects a little bit more of the change we've had with all the bans and challenges, I should say. In previous years, we got these so infrequently that we found that just saying, oh, you have to go talk to the Board of Trustees, most people were like, I don't know if it's really worth it. But we find now that the prevalence and the aggression that we have, or the targeted strategic way that people are using these challenges, we felt it was better to insert a level before it goes to trustees because it doesn't matter. So it does matter, but so what we're trying to put forth here is that, look, if you want something reviewed, we will review it. We, the professional staff, those who have selected it and those who may be responsible for deaccessioning it, will review it and we'll make a decision. Then there will be appeal process to the trustees. And it just slows down the process enough. I think nothing that we have in our collection is so timely that it must be dealt with. Although we want to deal with these things in a timely fashion, it is essentially what we would do before, because we would meet as a group. Jamie would get you all the statistics. We'd get the recommendations from whether it's children's librarians or teen librarians, and then we would present you with this information. So we're just going to do all that work, make a decision, a recommendation, and go with that. And then if that's not satisfactory, then the appeal process, because there is no appeal process right now. It's just you go to the trustees and that's the decision. So we're trying to make it a little bit more of a process that feels thorough and that involves the staff specifically who are trained and have good reasons for why they've selected. And I would say at least one time I know of that we just said, oh, that's a really good point. Maybe we will move it from here to here. Sometimes we learn things that are very helpful to us. So that's the major change to the request for reconsideration. I think there was the actual form. We tried to clean that up a little bit, saying we'll notify you. We're trying to still be very careful with noting that this is for public information. Once you submit this, it is publicly available. So those were the major changes. You have these in your packet and you're welcome to look at them. You can discuss this evening, but you're typically will come back in October and have a further discussion about these changes. Although if there's anything you see specifically now that you think we need to address, you're free to make those offers.
Yeah, I'd like to just share a couple thoughts. Under the intellectual freedom and controversial materials section, paragraph 2, I think. So it's the top of the next page.
Okay?
Yeah, the library does not advocate that.
The library does
Does
not advocate.
Right? So that piece, so you're inserting, the library material shall not be prescribed or removed, that section. You see where that's being inserted? This doesn't look like the red line version.
Oh, because that's
You're
in the appendix.
Nope, so you need to go before that.
Oh, okay.
Yep, keep going up.
Freedom to read.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
There we go.
So you can see under the first red line, it says parents are responsible. In our other policies, I feel like we say something different than parents. Do we say?
Oh,
parents, legal
caregivers.
Guardians, or I don't know that this is I guess it is a caregiver, yeah. If there's a caregiver in the library.
Right.
Ultimately, I think we're saying it's like the parent and legal guardian's decision.
Okay.
So I think all I'm suggesting is, however we refer to parents in a global sense in our other policies, we should reflect the same way here.
Excellent point. And I think we can go back to the policy regarding minors and
Yeah.
all that other stuff, and we can look at
Exactly.
how we have that
Just so that we're
referenced.
consistent across the board
Sounds good.
on that. And then on the next paragraph where, so you've changed the language, understanding it was being repetitive in Appendix 2. But I almost feel like here you shouldn't, it should read that when you get to Appendix 2, you're saying the same thing again.
Okay.
So I feel like maybe this part should just say, you can file a request for reconsideration of materials with the director.
Okay.
And then see Appendix 2 for
go on.
specifics, something like that, where it
Okay.
then directs you to Appendix 2.
Yeah. And then have Appendix 2 sort of be able to stand alone in and of itself.
Yep. And then in Appendix 2, I think you need to specifically address how then do I appeal? So now I'm upset, right? You did
Yes.
everything you said you were going to do, and you came back to me and you said, thank you so much for bringing this to our attention. However, this is our decision. We're not going to remove this from the collection. And now this person is upset. And they want to understand what their recourse is. And this says you may appeal it to the Board of Library Trustees, but you don't really tell them how
Tell them how.
to
Okay.
do that.
Okay.
So I think by including that here, you're just saving yourself a step of them coming back and saying, how do I do that? Like, do I have to fill out the form again?
Right.
Or is it saying to Amy, I want to appeal, and now you forward everything
Right.
to the trustees and you say to them, this is going to be considered at the trustees meeting. Whatever the process is, I just think it needs
Yeah.
to be laid out.
Honestly, I don't know what the process is, so that's
Well,
probably
probably
should
need to make
figure
it
that
up.
out now.
And I guess,
We don't say we will let you know until the bottom of the actual form, so that might be something. Yeah. So that's something to add is that they will be notified. And one thing we might do is have in the reply, if you wish to appeal, and this would be the procedure, and then include that in there as well.
yeah, and likely in the appendix, taking that language from the bottom there that says when a decision's been made regarding these materials,
You will be notified.
having it in the appendix, and then on the form, it's like a reminder.
Right. Got it. So duplicate that up. Yep.
And the only last thing I'd say is, I respect all of your decision on how best to handle this and support you and however you think it best. I feel like this puts you a lot more on the firing line and
Does.
takes us from shielding you a bit.
I will say this has been, I mean, most of the people in the room, staff here have been talking about this for at least over a year. And that's probably been the most, not the most, there's several things that are very, very discussed here and debated. And on any given day, someone might feel differently. But I think this change is reflects changes that we see nationally, and that at the end of the day provides some, well, first of all, it provides validation for the librarians who are doing, doing all the work. And we understand that that does put a target on our back. And that's unfortunate, but we are the experts. And, but we also understand that you are the final say. So I think it just injects that step and kind of includes that. It's just a little more inclusive, and I feel like it goes through. And I'll leave it to Andrea or Jamie if you want to, or Michelle, if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah.
Sorry, the committee of selectors is the way most libraries handle this. Very few libraries go straight to the trustees. And I'd say like 50% of libraries have an appeals process that does go to the trustees. So it's more in keeping with like a traditional request for reconsideration. But the other piece that we all saw kind of painfully up close was the public meeting forum for this kind of thing made the process highly politicized and divisive, and turned into a bit of a shouting match, which is not what we want to see in the community. Like it wasn't a particularly healthy process. What will be done with staff meeting in the library not in public forum is it's just a little more professional way of addressing it. And we are the ones who are responsible for enacting the policy. So we're going to be the front line of interpretation of like, does this fit our policy or not? So it really makes sense to come to us first. Those are the main kind of points behind it.
See if I've already forgotten what I was going to say. It's a serious thing to challenge a book, and we want to take as many steps as it takes. So instead of dragging the board into it on the first go round, it's not that we don't like the protection that you provide us. It's that there's so many points for a patron who's agreed to cool down and, you know, marshal their thoughts and resources. So we kind of want to have several steps so that they understand how seriously we are all taking this. You have to really jump through some hoops in order to get a book removed from the collection, because that's a serious business. We want people to take it very seriously. And to understand that it takes time and it takes professionals, and it's important. That was my reasoning.
Thank you for that. I respect all of you very much and that this was given a ton of thought. So really appreciate the recommendation. I just want to make sure you all know that we know you're already on the front line. So if you need our cover, that's what we're here for. I mean, that's a big part of our job. I think as a trustee, I'd also ask that when a book is challenged, we're notified, just so that we know, because it's helpful to know what's happening so that if something comes up when we're out in the community, we're just aware. That would be a tough thing to be caught unaware about. So not that we need to insert ourselves in that process, just being aware, I think, is super helpful. 100%.
In my front yard.
And that too. Yeah. Thank you.
I'm sort of assuming that in the review that's done by the Committee of Librarians, you wouldn't just sort of say, you know, issue rejected, basically, or question, you know, you would actually give an explanation. It sounds like we have we're saying that we have data and stuff like that, that you would give them an explanation of why you're rejecting the.
Yeah, I think we would want to approach this with the most calling in way to deal with this versus no, or yes. Even if it were a yes, I think we'd want to explain very clearly based on the data, based on the usage, selection criteria. I do think, and all of that I mean, we've done that before. Jamie presents the memo and we get statistics from every single library and the usage and where it's going and where it's listed. And I think all of that also reflects to Jamie's point and Andrea's point is the amount of work that goes into this and how seriously we're taking this. So yes, there would probably be a memo, I think, that would go along with it.
So I guess that, I don't know if it makes sense to identify some of those factors that would weigh in favor of keeping a book or rejecting a book.
I think we would fall back to the development policy, which is, currency, accuracy, relevance to the, yeah. So that, I mean, those are the pieces. And even now, we go back to that collection default, there'll be a book meeting and someone will say like, should we get this? And we're like, I don't know. Let me look at the policy again. Because not everybody agrees. That's why we have a committee and not one person often deciding these decisions and not everybody will say like, oh, I don't know, is that really worth the money? And is that really going to circulate? And then we go back and we look at that. It is a really important document to us in terms of selecting items. So obviously there's some things that we don't really think twice about, but a lot of times we're trying to use our funds in good stewardship, but also to try and make sure we have a rounded collection. So we use it for tiebreakers.
To Andrew's point, sorry, in Appendix 2, maybe you refer to the collection development policy. Because right now it says using qualitative and quantitative data and assessment, maybe you. actually
According to
go
the
back.
collection development policy.
Right. Somewhere in here it does.
I'm pretty sure somewhere in there it says if it meets the,
Says the criteria of
qualification.
selection is the word. It says.
of the criteria of
the
selection.
Criteria of selection.
Oh, so it doesn't specifically,
Yeah, I think.
mean,
if
I
you
can- I can
back
go
to the
through it.
Policy with like a hyperlink to it, then again, you're just,
right, reinforcing that policy. The
Yep.
things that we look at are circulation data, whether a thing is widely reviewed, for better or worse. It doesn't have to be well reviewed. We buy plenty of books that are poorly reviewed, but that people love. But those are the kinds of things we look for, where other if other libraries also own it and where they put it, especially if there's a challenge about where to put something. You may remember the genderqueer, which is, should it be in the teen room? Should it be in the, where does it go? So we collected that information from a lot of other libraries, just so we can have some comparative data about it.
Excellent. Should we put a, something on a future agenda to cover this? I didn't-
Hello? Hello? Yes, it's on the October agenda.
October one?
Yep. And
We can clean up. the
we
things that
will,
we
we'll clean
mentioned
that up
tonight.
and have some proofreaders go through it to make sure, again, like I understand what you're saying, particularly Appendix 2 and the form should be able to stand alone and refer back to something so that people are like, oh, maybe I should go read that other document. So those are really good points. Again, we stare at this all day long, so
Guys.
fresh eyes are always great. That's why you're so valuable. So yes, and we'll talk about it in October, and even in October, if there's additional tweaks, we can put it off and vote on it in November, and that's the process. And appreciate all the feedback. As usual, if you think of something after you've left the meeting, feel free to email me, and we can talk about incorporating that as well.
Next, any other questions? Are we ready to move on? Next item on the agenda is discussion and vote revisions to the meeting room policy.
The other staff may be excused if they wish to go.
I was just- Pack it up.
Yes, hang out with the
Nice
friends.
to see all of you.
For everything.
thank you. Move that we accept the meeting room policy as amended.
Second. It's just a regular straight vote, right?
Yep.
He's online. Great. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0.
Woo.
Next item on the agenda is Library Terrace update.
Oh, this is exciting. So as you know, we were using the remaining foundation funds to pay for Activitas to do the final design and bid process. That was completed in July and it went out to bid. And on August, it was like 7th or 8th, We had 8 bids. We were very excited. We had no idea we'd get 8 bids. They all came in under budget, 8 bids. So I have to just give a huge shout out to the procurement department, Katie Gabriello and Josh Delane, Ryan Percival's town engineer, and Activitas. They all went through, they read them all in detail, checked all the references. The lowest 2 bids withdrew their bids, so that left Delco. I have it written down. We went with the bid. We've signed the contracts. It's for $158,500, which is quite a bit less than what we thought it was going to be. So we'll be talking to the foundation about other ways that we can enhance the project. There may be things that we can add on, not necessarily through this particular, we might be able to do additional landscaping or additional picnic tables or something like that, that the foundation can help fund some of those other beautification projects outside the building. So that should start. All the bonds have been signed, so that should start this fall. There's a lead time on 4 to 6 weeks for some of the material, so we'll be really pushing it. But depending on when they finish the hardscaping, they may be able to put the plantings in. If they can't put the plantings in, we just wait and we plan all winter, and then we do the plantings in the spring. But they're contracted to do that as well. So very excited.
It is great. I didn't realize it was that cheap. That is huge. So that's starting, when do they think they're going to actually start?
They could start as early as, I think, mid-October, but a lot of it depends on supply chain and all those wonderful words. So they have to get the materials in. The requirement was that it use a very specific engineered stone for the terraced seating area, because it comes it's like almost like Legos. I think they come together and they have the reinforcement. They can do all the prep work for that, but until they get some of those big pieces, they can't really do much. So the hardscaping is the big cost,
Yeah.
and so we'll go from there.
Thank you. Any questions, anyone? If not, on to the financial report and the director's.
Okay, first of all, we were able to file our financial report and state aid application. Those aren't due until very, very early October. However, we try to get in as early as possible. The earlier we get it in, the earlier we'll be on the Mass Board of Library Commissioners award list. So hopefully we'll be able to hear in November about our state aid award. And we met all the requirements and we remain certified. So we're very excited about that. We had some lovely gifts this month, some in memory of Michael Coltman, who's the husband of Judy Coltman. Some of you know her, she's a longtime friend. And in recognition of Judy Terrazano's retirement, although she's already been back substituting almost every other week. Can't keep them away. I won't go through the whole directors. Are there any questions about financials? It's not a lot to report in the first couple months of the fiscal year, but we're doing fine. I won't go through all of the statistics, but we're very excited about Library Card Sign Up Month. I'd like Michelle to talk a little bit about her outreach.
So we did library card sign up month at the police station and at the fire station, and they were incredibly excited about it. So a lot of them use Libby, and they wanted to know all about what they could have access to. And at the police station, we had, I think, 8 people sign up for cards, and at the fire station, we had 4. I think part of that is because at the police station, they have to be within a certain area to live in a certain area. So that was one of the reasons why we had more of them. Officer Cooper got a library card. The dog, well, not really, but we took pictures with him. And one of the things that was great about it was there was just a really good connection between different departments. We got to talk to them. We're going to be providing some games from the Library of Things for an event that the fire department's having for their families. It just was a really good way to connect. And we're also going to be hopefully going over to the town hall to register people for cards there. So it was great, yeah.
So we've had such a full meeting this evening. I won't go through everything, but I did just want to note, we try to capture the compliments and kudos that we get. And so I just included 2 emails, one specifically about genealogy and the other with someone, Elizabeth, who helped a patron with their, I think it was a Kindle, but an ebook reader. And those are the types of things that are very difficult to capture in our statistics. The impact that we have. We had another comment, I didn't include this, of our busy bees. We had an event, and we had someone say, like, getting older, and my husband passed away, and I'm just looking for a way. It's been so nice to connect with people over gardening, and I love it. And I've met some people that I never knew before. We went on a field trip together. So those are the types of stories that we try to, but often forget to pass along to the trustees, because it is more than a statistics. It is more than the hard data. There's a lot of qualitative data and anecdotal information that we like to share with you. So enjoy those. Oh, and Don Colford is here for 32 years this month,
It's amazing.
which is, yeah, amazing. So, and we have our new Judy Terrazano started just last week, and they're fitting in really well, and they have come with a very, very strong customer service background. So we're hoping that we know that will actually be a real asset.
How did you say Sam's last name?
Tinkler?
Oh. That's what I thought.
I know.
But it's not what I thought I heard, so that's why I was
Yes.
confused.
So, and that's it.
Excellent. Anybody have any questions on the financial or director's report? Now we can move on to the approval of meeting minutes from last month. Do we have any questions, concerns, or a motion?
Move to approve the minutes as presented.
A second.
Second.
All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Next item on the agenda are the future agenda items. I guess, do we have to go through them, or can we just review them? They're pretty self-evident. What's the financial forum on October?
The financial, Andrew?
That's an annual event sort of through the finance committee and town government to sort of identify issues before they start developing the budget for the following year. So it'll be a forecast of what they think state aid might be based on the most recent information from the state, early forecast of what they think tax revenues will be, just sort of the groundwork for starting the budget process.
Thank you very much. Makes perfect sense. All right. Does anybody else have any questions, or can we have a motion to adjourn? Anything else? Anyone?
I wasn't clear on MLTA request.
Oh, right.
If we need,
You need that
we
on,
need to discuss it, should we just consider it and discuss it in October? I just wasn't sure
Right,
where
it
we went
wasn't-
with it.
we didn't. It
Okay.
wasn't on a future agenda item. We should probably put it in the October agenda items. Oh, one question I did have, I guess we should ask you now, because we'll just have to ask it again. You said we're a member of another organization, the one we get the emails from. How does that compare to this one?
I'm not sure. You could look up United for Libraries. That's why I wrote it on there. Look up United for Libraries, or maybe look at any emails that you've gotten from them, and then look up the MLTA. United for Libraries is national. That's one of the things. The MLTA is just trustees in Massachusetts.
And it says that meets monthly on Zoom for an hour. Is that something where they say they're asking trustees? Is that something, an expectation would be as many trustees as possible? One is a representative. Do we know what that means?
I'm not sure. They may say on the website, and it
Okay.
has to be less than a quorum.
Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, of course. Okay. Could we add that to the October agenda items for discussion? Is that okay?
Yeah,
I think we need a vote
sounds
for
good.
that. Thank you for bringing that up. Anything else? We have a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn?
Second the motion?
All in favor? We are done as of 8:07. Thank you.